Chevy drive, look alive, niggas came up on this side, now they on the other side. Oh well, fuck them dawg, we gon' see how hard they ride. I get rested go outside, and I split it with the guy. Be up on the other side, niggas acting like we tied. I been gone since like July, niggas acting like I died. They won't be expecting shit when Campbell go to slide, cause I told them never put that shit.
Hey, what's up, Hip Hop Weekly? This your boy GL, and we got something special for y'all again. I got my boy Matt Barnes. You know what I'm saying? And we cooling out at this spot here in LA. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do something, man. We're gonna get to know this man because it's a lot of layers. And I don't think everybody understands, you know what I'm saying, everything that this man is involved in and everything that he's been through. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure to have you.
Appreciate you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You like family, man. You know my family.
Right.
You know, and since I met you, you know, you always been positive. You always been motivating.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that's a part of you that a lot of people know about.
No, they don't highlight that side. They only highlight the other side. So, you know, I just have a positive outlook. You know, I mean, I go through a lot of real issues, real life bullshit. But at the end of the day, man, we're all blessed.
Right.
You know, I was able to, you know, play 15 years in the NBA, win a championship. You know, make money, have a family. You know, so why not be positive?
Right.
You know?
So what most people know is what you just mentioned, that, you know, 15 years in the NBA, was it 8 teams?
Yeah.
So 8 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you'd have been in a lot of cities, you'd have dealt with a lot of personalities, a lot of coaches, a lot of, you know, stuff. You got a ring, you know, which automatically kind of pushes you up. You know, the ring conversation is how they measure your greatness or whatever, right?
My whole thing was, to be honest with you, man, it was never really, you know, I thought obviously winning was my ultimate goal, but my whole thing was, you know, being talked about as this or that. Like, I just wanted to be known as, you know, a great teammate and someone that, you know, every night I went out on the floor, I left it all out there. You know what I mean? So nothing outside of that and winning really mattered to me.
Right. And I think that that's something that people could see watching you play is, you know, they call him the glue guy, but it's more like the heartbeat.
Right.
Is what I think you were.
Right.
You know, watching you play. You know, I'm a Warriors fan. You had a couple of stints. You know, my favorite Warriors team was We Believe.
No doubt.
And to have you be a part of that and have such a big personality and
right. You know, I definitely think, you know, that was the situation. You know, the first 4 years I was on, you know, 4 different teams and didn't really get a chance to play. When you know, once I settled in and started playing, I was always somebody that, you know, came in and earned the respect and ended up starting on that, you know, every team I played for, including, you know, that championship team that I ended up retiring after that season. So, you know, it's just always been something about my personality. You know, never been the best player, but, you know, always one of the biggest hearts and hardest workers. And I think that, you know, in the professional circles, that gets you a lot of respect.
Right.
And, you know, that's why I was, you know, kind of always a vocal point and somewhat of a leader on pretty much every team I played on.
Right. So, what I want to know, I mean, this is you know, it's professional sports, you know, and I think that people have an idea of what it's like. They think it's glitz and it's glamour and it's, you know, you make a bunch of money, you're surrounded by this and that, and they don't understand how much work, how much commitment, how much effort, how much of your time is not your time.
Yeah.
You know, what goes into that.
It's a life commitment, you know what I mean? Like you said, they see the outcome, but they don't see what it took to get there and what it takes to stay, you know, to define odds, you know, that to even be a professional athlete to begin with, you know, is you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning, you know, and then if you play in, you know, the major sports, what we call major sports, the NFL, the NBA, the average career is 3 years, you know, 2.5, 3 years, you know, so to make it as long as I made it, it took a lot of hard work, you know, especially for me, because I had to grind and scratch and claw my whole time. Right. So it was really just a life commitment. You know what I mean? Knowing that I had to work my ass off 11 and a half months out of 12 months a year for the last 15 in the NBA, 4 in college, you know, almost 20 years. You know what I mean? So to be able to do that and play on the highest level and go out the way I wanted to go out, you know, not too many people can say that.
It's true. Did you ever have moments where you were like, man, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, no doubt. So right before that 2007 We Believe team with the Warriors, you you know, I had bounced around and really hadn't got a chance to play yet. And, you know, I was a football player growing up. That was my first sport. You know, I was one of the top receivers in the nation my senior year. Scholarships everywhere, led the nation in touchdowns. So going into that 2006, 2007 season, you know, I was really on the fence about, you know, fuck basketball. I'm going to try to go play football, you know, because I had a handful of NFL teams that were ready, you know, to do an open tryout. And luckily that Golden State team worked. And it really even though I had been into the NBA, you know, 4 years leading into that situation, it really kind of gave me the platform to really start my career that season.
Right. So, you say you retired. You done, or there's no scenario. You know, Steve Kerr can't call, LeBron can't call. You know, there's nothing.
Nah, man, I thought about, to be honest with you, thought about coming back last year. I went to Steph Curry's birthday party in March last year. And, you know, I talked to guys here and there, but hadn't really seen nobody. And from the second I walked in, staff, you know, equipment managers, everybody, you know, we want you to come back and make this run. And then, you know, so I started seeing some of the players, then started talking to some of the coaches, and everyone was like, you know, we need you to come back. I'm like, shit, like I ain't done nothing since like and I was hurt when we won the championship, so I really hadn't really played in almost a year because I was hurt. I got hurt, you know, in April going into the playoffs. So, you know, it was something I thought about, started training, but then just, you know, remembered how much time and how much, you know, commitment that is. And mentally I was in a different space, you know what I mean? And I think to really be on that, you know, professional, you know, athlete grind, you have to have the right mentality. And I think that I had already really mentally checked out. I mean, as good as, you know, going back to the Warriors, and obviously they won another championship, would have been, you know, just mentally I wasn't there. And, you know, that's when I knew I made the right decision to retire, you know what I mean? Because, if, you know, they can dangle, come back and play on the best team in the world, you know what I mean? And it was, you know, there was things on both sides that had to be done, you know what I mean? They would have had to make some decisions, and, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, Coach Kerr and I talked, and, you know, we just decided that, you know, just that wasn't going to happen. And, you know, I just enjoyed having my freedom. You know, I mean, people don't realize, you know, we have an 8-month season, and we get 4 months off, but, you know, you could probably only take, you know, 3 to 4 weeks off, and you got to start training again. So really you're on the clock 11 out of 12 months a year. And, you know, now with me being a full-time dad and all the other business stuff I was doing, it's just, basketball is my past.
Yeah, I don't know. People never understand it. You know, like what happened? The kid from Buffalo that just retired at halftime.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And he, you know, he just said my mind wasn't in it. I was on the field and my mind wasn't in it. You know?
I think probably because that team sucked. That's why he did it. But not playing. No, but like no bullshit. Your mind has to be all the way into it. You know, it almost has to be tunnel vision. And you know, because we've been there and we've done that. I can't speak for how he felt, but you know, you have to be 1,000% into it. And if there's any doubt or if it's anything other than that, it's not gonna work.
So you had this illustrious basketball career. You got to, you know, play in a bunch of cities, win a bunch of rings, see a lot of stuff, and now it's life after basketball. Now it's, you know, you're still young, you know, you still got your looks, you got your health, you got everything going. You know, what is that like now to wake up and I don't have to do this?
You know, it was cool. You know, today was, you know, I started my day with the first 3 hours laying in bed, sending emails, taking conference calls, and smoking a joint. You know what I mean? So for that to kind of be like, what's next? Like you can't beat that. You know what I mean? To be able to play as long as I played and then being able to smoothly transition into business and, you know, my next career, it's been a blessing, you know, and I think I was fortunate enough to kind of start planning ahead while I was playing. You know, I was able to play till I was 37, but, you know, I really started planning about life after basketball at about 30, you know, so getting stuff off the ground and actually have it come full circle, that doesn't happen too often. But, you know, luckily after the year I won that championship, that summer of 2017, all the pieces started falling in line. So, you know, I left the basketball court and took off in business. And business is really just all different directions. And to think too now, you know, I'm getting paid to smoke weed. Like I'm still getting paid by the NBA till the end of this season, but I'm getting paid to smoke weed now. So it's like,
so you go from one
best job in the world to the next best job in the world.
world.
Yeah, So throw being a father in there, man. Like I said, that's why I'm always so positive, because life is good.
So you mentioned business, and I remember I ran into you at a party. It was probably one of the first times we actually had a real conversation, and it was crazy because you were like, "Bro, you got this business stuff, you know."
This is
and,
it.
and you good friends with my brother, and we work together. And you were like, y'all got to get this business hype. You was giving me a lot of game, and I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize is, your hands are in so many things, and your business mind, your business acumen is off the chart.
I just think it's a hustle that most of us are born with. You know what I mean? When you come from the streets, you have that hustle mentality, that hustle grind, and to be able to take that and transition that, and like you said, your brother's a perfect example to use just our platform and each of our respective sports as a platform. But then now we're our own brand outside of that, and to be able to hustle in business, to me is almost just exciting as it's playing in a big game. You know what I mean? Because this money is endless. You're learning so much. You're doing, like I said, doing something again that you love. So it's not really work. It's something I enjoy doing. So, and I really try to pass that on to as many brothers as I can, to be honest with you, because it don't take much, and I just don't think most of us don't know where to start. You know what I mean? So if I could help people get started or motivate people or put them in the right direction, I'm always going to try to do that.
Yeah. So you have a bunch of stuff. You got the Hue joint going.
Yeah, I got the Hue for Every Man. We just launched in Target. We did a small run to start, but we're exceeding expectations. So in November, we'll get a whole new layout of stores. So that's my men's grooming line. I have a blanket company or a bedding company called Active Dreamers. Right now we're in the NBA Online, looking to do deals with people like Bed Bath & Beyond and Walmart, along those lines. So that's a really cool business. It's fun. My kids love that one. What else do I have?
Obviously, the cannabis.
I got the cannabis stuff. I got my own line of pre-rolled joints coming out. Premium pre-rolls.
Premium.
Not that bottom of the bag shake bullshit.
No Reggie.
No, we got the premiums, and it's my whole push with this cannabis stuff is kind of put it out on an educational, like a beneficial standpoint, and kind of remove the stigma of just being high. Because I'm an athlete, I'm a father, I'm a coach, and you really don't want to give the wrong message. But I really feel like cannabis, handled responsibly, like any other stuff, can really be beneficial.
Right.
So like I said, my thing is a whole on a this is when I smoke this is why I smoke it, this is what happens to me type situation. So that's what my cannabis stuff, and I think the best thing about that is, proceeds from my line goes to my cancer foundation as well. So I think that's cool. I was able to tie those two things in.
Now that was sort of motivating for you, right? Because your mom.
Yeah, I lost my mom to cancer. She was diagnosed November 1st, 2007, and died November 27th. So within 26 days, we lost her. So I started my foundation. I've been able to team up with Snoop, and we've been going strong now for about 5 years on what we're doing, and it continues to grow. So our next step is to create a scholarship program for kids who beat cancer that want to go to college. So like I said, I try to tie all my businesses that I have. I try to loop those back and get proceeds from everything I'm doing e-commerce style to donate to my foundation. What else do we have? Let me take a look, man, because I'm kind of scatterbrained. But actually, I just wrote everything down because we're locking everything in. But I really have my hands. I got a flower company, a regular flower shop in downtown LA. Hold on, give me 1 second.
While you're looking at that, I do got a question.
Yeah.
What makes a good business deal? Like how do you recognize what you want to get into?
I really feed I feed off people's energy. You know what I mean? I feel like I gotta really like you to be in business with you. You know what I mean? I know not all money is good money. To me, it's like a friendship, a partnership, a family, kind of like a team. So I mean, those are the kind of people I try to align myself with. And then obviously, you got to do your homework on the deal itself. But before I even get to the deal with itself, man, if I can't vibe with you off our first initial meeting, like I'm not even gonna do my homework on it, because I just know the right energy isn't there.
Right.
So yeah, so another company I got is Liquidology. It's a fresh pressed juice company that I started with some of my friends up in Sacramento. We have 2 stores now. We're launching a 3rd at the end of October. And our whole mission with that is we kind of feel like this new millennials are more juice than coffee. So we made like a whole Starbucks vibe, juice bar type of situation. So you can come in there and get your juice, smoothies, shakes, our shots. You can get food, you know, wraps and salads and rolls and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we do that. We got the Flower Active Dreamers. We got I got this smoky brand, which kind of resorts back to cannabis, which is kind of the umbrella, and I'm doing a whole line of, you know, cannabis-driven clothing. You know, for when we got our shorts right here. We got dope socks. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, cool t-shirts, all that. And
is that
stuff.
A cultural thing, or is it like, is it infused? Is it?
So we're gonna be hemp infused, a hemp infused line, but you know, it's just like I said, it's cool, loungy clothes that I know I like to lay around it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's cool logos and designs and that stuff that we know that, you know, that demographic will definitely be into. So we got that. TV, film, production. You know, we got a new line of our version of Copper Fit. You know what I mean? We're talking to Tiger Woods and Steve Nash about representing. We have like sleek portable hot packs that you can wear on your back and on your knees, and you can actually like move around it. Like it's not all bulky with the ace wrap and all that kind of stuff. Like you can work your day. You know, you go to work in it, work out in it, play in it, do all the kind of things. So that's something that we're brewing up right now that could be pretty big as well. So, like I said, it's just all different avenues. You know, and I try to tie all of them in to the cancer component, my foundation component, but I'm able to connect the dots through all the different businesses, which is people I know.
So the personality that people have, a perception of you is passionate, right? Is that how you know, and right now you as cool and calm as can be, you know what I'm saying? But is that how you attack your business life too?
I really attack business, you know, how I played sports. It was just aggressive and passionate. But anybody who knew me in sports, like knew like off the court, I was always like this. You know, I've been smoking weed since I was 14, so I'm just chill. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's that fire starts when I'm playing, and there's no telling, you know, what will happen or what needs to happen. And you know, at the highest level of competition, you know. But like I said, I think a lot of people could speak to that. But then off the court, I'm almost night and day.
So competition, and I got to bring it to music a little bit because we are a hip hop magazine, and the NBA was crazy because it's
parallel,
parallel. You know, there's
Hoopers
a culture, hip hop
hoop-
culture and the NBA go
Hoopers
together.
want to be rappers want to be hoopers.
And some of them try to be. You
Right.
know, I got family. Shout out Dame Lillard.
Yeah, Dame is one of the very few. Yeah, David's one of the very few. You know, Steven Jackson could go a little bit. You know, Iman Shumpert, but you know, too often there's guys that, you know, just like stick to your lane.
So,
but I mean, if you love it, go for it.
Who are some of your favorite artists?
Players, rappers, or
No,
rappers?
rappers.
All-time rappers. I'm a huge Pac fan. I'm more of a 90s rap, almost 90s R&B, because this new music is, you know, outside of this new music is, it's not for me. You know what I mean? But I'm Pac, Biggie, Jay. I'm a fan of Drake, Kendrick, Nipsey, J. Cole, you know, Eminem. I'm more people that are saying something. In today's rap, they're not really saying too much of anything. So it's just like, you know, it's funny because I have kids that love all of this new bullshit. So I'm thinking, like, is this how our parents thought when we kind of got older? Like,
I feel like they did because they said it. They were saying it. They were
it's
like,
hard to say, like, how could they not understand what Tupac and what Jay-Z and Nas and all them were saying back then? You know what I mean? Like, because that's what we were listening to growing up. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking probably that's what it was, but it's just like, damn, there's a huge disconnect because this new shit is something else.
I'm with you because I'm a little older.
When you get older, yeah.
You know, in the way we said stuff, you know, and it's so funny that you listen to the new music and their messaging is like the opposite of what the messaging was in our generation.
Right, you know, it's to do drugs and do this and do that and do this to women, and I'm just like, that's why this whole generation is crazy as fuck.
They say, some of them say, like, they're embracing what it really is to live life, you know, whereas
I think they're giving them a false sense of a false narrative because that's not real life. You know what I mean? That's a temporary life you can have when you have a bunch of money, but you know, looking at it realistically, it's not like really like a long-term play. You know what I mean? Like, now don't get me wrong, there are some very talented young artists, but you know, are you going to have the longevity with what you're saying? Are people always going to want to hear what you're talking about? You know what I mean? And you know, like Snoop and Jay have always been able to, you know, give a message, and they've been, you know, in this lane for years, you know. So I think the goal ultimately with anything you do is you want to have longevity. Right. You know, right now, music is kind of like a flash in the pan. You know what I mean? You get a cool hook and a cool dance that goes with it, and you can, you know, sell a bunch of records. You know, but are you going to last doing that?
Right. So I got a question for you. So you get to travel and be around some of these, you know, people, some of these artists, other ball players and stuff, and you know, we have opinions. It's one thing to have sports teams and you like them, but you know, music is subjective. You know, you like what you like, you don't like what you like, and then you get to be around some of these people, especially in the position that you've been in. You know, have you ever found yourself in a position where you were around someone and you don't like their stuff, but you're right in front of them and you know you don't want to be?
You know what I found out is more times than not, like I'll like their music, but then not them. You know what I mean? Because they're telling a hell of a story, but then they act a lot different. You know what I mean? So at first it used to break my heart, like, damn, I really looked up to dog. Like, this is how he really moves. But then I guess I was just able to detach the music from the person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And still like, okay, hey, you move that way, respect. But, you know, I could really fuck with the music. And I think I was able to do that because of who I am on the court and who I am off the court. Like, people one way are like, damn, he's an asshole, or damn, we love the way he plays. And then off the court, I'm a lot different. So I think I was able to kind of separate the two. But you know, not that I don't fuck with it, because I probably wouldn't really be in those circles if I didn't. But I think, you know, once I got a chance to meet, and it's just some of them, you got a chance to meet some of them, it's just like, oh, okay, you move a little different, but shit, your music is dope, so fuck it.
Right. Anybody you met and you were like, damn, I expected them to be different, but they hella cool. Like,
no, I mean, I really don't put expectations on people, like I said, because I've always been judged, you know what I mean? So I kind of go into it with everybody with the open mind to be cool. But and to be honest with you, majority of the people I have met in sports and in music are dope individuals. You know what I mean? You have to be a different kind of individual to be able to succeed on both of these levels. So most of these people are, you know, very deep and in-depth people and really have a lot more than meets the eye, you know, so I enjoy getting a chance to meet them and kind of peeling back the layers, you know, as we become friends.
right. So you recently started, you know, you have is it a show, Same Energy?
Yeah.
Where you are sitting down with people and, you know, one of the people you sat down with is my brother, Marshawn.
Yeah.
And that was it was a dope conversation. It was pretty intense.
Right.
You know, but to sit across from someone, a peer, you know, and kind of dig that deep with them, you know, what is that like for you?
I think it's really cool. You know, one, because I think who I am and kind of like the way I earn my respect, I think a lot of people, you know, fuck with that point of view. So if I'm able to get you to open up comfortably, to, you know, to me as like a homie and not like a reporter, I think that's where you're able to, you know, go into different layers. And I think that's where we really brought your brother out the shell. You know, when we filmed your brother, you know, his whole career is, you know what I mean, I'm here not, you know, so I don't get in trouble, you know what I mean? But just because you never know how the media, and I feel them, you know, one day you're the best, next day you're the worst, you know what I mean? And they're going to dog the shit out of you either way. So I think that my ability to make people comfortable, you know, and really let them know, like, this is more about just us talking than, you know, me trying to pry in, you know, so where you want to talk, where do you want to, you know, dispel the myths, because like I said, it's the same for me. I've always been misunderstood, you know what I mean? So I really take pride in being able to, you know, to get Marshawn to open up, because, you know, to the level he opened up with me, he hasn't done that for anybody else. You know, so I think we have a really unique concept over there at Uninterrupted. And, you know, we're continuing to try to build something special with that and really get unique people, you know, that don't really open up as much, you know. So we're hunting down a few big names right now with Kawhi Leonard and Conor McGregor, you know. So we're hoping we can lock those two guys in and really sit down and get to know them. Right, you know what I mean? Like I said, because, I mean, to have Marshawn started off, once that shit went public, the world was talking about it. Like, you got Marshawn to talk, and he actually opened up and was telling stories, and people loved this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much to him, and I think that's why him and I get along so well, is because I think once people get us to open up, like, they realize, like, we're cool, and we got a lot of shit with us, you know what I mean? A lot of cool stories, and, you know, so I definitely owe your brother a lot for kind of being my first guinea pig, but, you know, he got that shit off the ground for me.
You know, he told me something one time. I remember we're sitting in Seattle in the kitchen, and we were just like, bro, it's so much stuff we can do, you know? And he's like, bro, do you want to live, or do you want to play the game so that, you know, do you want to do what they want us to do? You know, because the way we living right now, we living, you know, but if we do it like they wanted to do it, we ain't going to be able to live like this. You know, and it was a trip, because it's the first time I thought about it. I was like, damn, it's true. You know, media is and being a part of media now is, you know,
it's crazy.
Media's a trip.
And there's there's good and bad media, you know what I mean? And I think more times than not, you know, if you're able to befriend somebody in the media and really give them an in-depth look at you, they're gonna ride for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I've been able to do with, you know, for the majority of my career, people, the ESPNs and all these people only highlight the bad shit. You know what I mean? But then behind the scenes, when a reporter actually takes the time to get to know you, you know what I mean, and you're able to open up a little bit for them, they're able to shed a light, you know, on stuff that a lot of people don't know. So it's really a tricky play, because, you know, if you shut them all the way out, they're always just going to dog you. You know, if you give them too much, they're going to dog you. So you have to give them just enough and really find the right people to fuck with.
And it's a balance, too, of what's news and what's prying. You know, with you, especially, I mean, recently, and you don't got to get into it, but you get a lot of attention for your personal life. It's not, you know, you trying to be a businessman and a father, and all they care about is
the bullshit.
Bullshit.
You know, and I think, you know, I realized once I did, you know, reality TV, that I gave my right to privacy away. You know what I mean? So I can't even be mad at it, because I opened up my life to allow these people to look at it and judge it and check it out. You know, and that's really kind of almost the world we live in now. So, you know, I'm not really affected by what the people on the outside say. You know, every once and again, like, you talk crazy to me, I'll probably cuss you back out. But, you know, outside of that, I really don't concern myself with people who don't know me have to say or feel about me. You know what I mean? I think if you're going to take the time to get to know me, I respect and care what you say. You know what I mean? So if friends or family say some crazy shit, that's the kind of shit that will hurt me. But, you know, people that I don't know, that don't know anything about me, I don't give a fuck what you got to say about me.
That's true. So I think that everybody now knows you're a family man. You're a dad. You know, you got 2 boys. You know, what kind of dad are you? Like,
shit, the best fucking dad on the planet. You know, no, my boys are my life, man, and obviously my dealings with my ex are well publicized. You know what I mean? So to be able to, you know, be the shield for my kids is the most important thing, you know, because they're 9 and they'll be 10 in a couple months, and, you know, this is a world where everything that happens, you know, everyone finds out about, you know, so there's no secrets, there's no privacy. So, you know, when I get into it with my kid's mom, or she's just tripping, I'm not so much worried about what anyone else has to say. I'm worried about, you know, how it's going to affect my kids, you know. So with all the bullshit I've been going through recently, you know, to be able to get custody of my boys and get them back on the right track has been amazing. It's been a blast. But at the same time, like I said, you have to understand they're 9, they're still, you know, children, you know what I mean? So I try to protect them as much as I possibly can.
Now, I know you've probably been asked this before. Did they feel any pressure being Matt Barnes' son?
I don't think it's really hit them yet. Right now, it's just kind of cool, I think. You know what I mean? I don't think there's no pressure, and there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, the fucked up childhood I had, and I still turned out the way I turned out. My kids are going to have a great childhood, and dad, they can always lean on, you know what I mean? So I know my kids are going to be a lot better than me, so they're going to be looking at like, Dad, those are numbers you put up? That was some bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I really feel like how my kids are going to look at it, and that's cool with me, you know what I mean? You always want your seeds to be a lot better than you. You know, I was lucky to fuck around and even make it, you know what I mean? So, you know, with the foundation my kids have and the relationship we have, you know, they're going to excel in whatever they decide to do.
That's dope. So it's not like you know, I'm pushing them, I'm guiding them. It's just
not
more
at all.
like
whatever, you know, whatever. And the one thing I'll give their mom credit for was their mom was really from the jump really on education. You know what I mean? So they started on the My Baby Can Read and the flashcards and the Montessori school real early. So, you know, outside of being very athletic and talented in sports, they have a really solid educational background, which is good because that's something I didn't have either. You know what I mean? So as they continue to get older, it's really, I'm not the dad that's, we're going to go work out for 3 hours. If they want to work out, we can work out. You know what I mean? I want them to want to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They know what can happen from it. You know what I mean? They see, this lifestyle. They've been around everyone, my peers and my friends, and the lifestyle they live. And they realize they have that chance, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. So that's one thing that they're going to have to develop and understand. And, whether it's sports or politics or doctors or whatever they support, whatever they want to, direction they want to go in, I'm going to support.
Right. So recently, you've been talking a lot and trying to educate people about building generational wealth. I think you even were quoted saying you want to be a billionaire by the time you're 50. What are the ways you feel like we can accomplish this generational wealth? Because, for black people, that's something we don't have yet.
But I think, it's something that your brother, like you said, mentioned in that kitchen, man, taking back, we don't need no one to do, everyone's always kind of pimped us out and made money off us. Mm-hmm. And now more than ever, we're capable of telling our own story and creating our own businesses and our own legacies and our own foundation like never before,
Mm-hmm.
So, I think with mine is, having several different revenue streams. You know what I mean? I have 9 businesses right now that I'm actively involved in, and 3 are starting to give me money back. You know what I mean? Which is good, because that's always the goal. So, my thing is just to continue to start businesses and do well in them, sell them, and start other businesses, and just really be in stuff that I'm passionate about. And I think that's how how you create wealth. And being rich is great, and it's a blessing. But when you want something that's gonna last, you have to go that extra mile. So it's something that I start talking with my kids about now. They sit in for a little bit of the meetings with me, and they got their first endorsement deal, and they're talking about how they want to own businesses by the time they get to high school. And that's, I wasn't thinking about none of that shit until I was like I said, 30 is when I really started taking it seriously. So these kids are 8 and 9, understanding businesses, and we're going to get an LLC started for them and really have them understand what it is to really make money.
Right. I think that the idea, has existed of, that support system and creating that generational wealth and supporting each other and starting our own stuff and supporting our own stuff and knowing that you got to be committed to it. And there's always going to be obstacles just because we don't get viewed the same. Even the way the climate is, we could talk about just the Kaepernick thing. You know what I mean? Like, Nike did the play. Obviously the play was a money play for them. But the reaction to it was nuts.
Right.
When you think about it, we all went and supported Nike because it was like, oh, look what they did for us.
And now we're at an all-time high, but then there's just as many people that don't support it. You know what I mean? So it's something that I think most people understand, and no one said this shit was going to be easy. You know what I mean? No one said it was going to be easy, but it's something that can definitely be done. When you look at the Jay-Z's and the Dr. Dre's and, what LeBron is doing, what MJ is doing, what Kobe is building. There's a lot of other black business billionaires out there that have kind of paved the way to let you know, like, it's definitely available. And I think, as athletes or rappers, we're in a position to reach out and touch those people, to be able to for them to be able to drop game on us, and for us to be able to study their moves. They're really only a click away now, which is amazing.
Well, what's interesting, and this is why it was important for me to do this with you, is because, like I said, I want people to know how business-minded you are, because you're talking about influence, and you said some big names, and those people are entertainers and ball players. And no matter what they're doing off to the court, we love LeBron. LeBron makes a lot of moves. The school is a big deal. The behind-the-scenes business is a big deal. He brought his whole team with him, from high school. But at the end of the day, people look up to LeBron because he plays ball, and then they want to play ball. They don't go, oh, LeBron has this. Maybe I should look into doing that.
Well, I think it kind of comes in layers, you know what I mean? Because, I was once an athlete growing up, and you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to play something professionally, you know what I mean? And looking back on it older, you always want it, because they always say, what's your backup plan? And most kids don't have a backup plan because they want to believe so deeply that they're going to make it. And you have to have that belief. But at the same time, that I think it's good that LeBron and guys, you know, such as myself and other guys are showing what else we're doing. You know what I mean? Because it's not just basketball. Basketball has been a tremendous platform for all of us, but basketball is just a small piece of who we are.
Right.
You know, so I think all that comes with time, and I think age and maturity. You know, like I said, I stay on my kids, so now they're thinking about it at 9. You know what I mean? So like I said, I think the more LeBron talks about it and Steph talks about it and these other guys talk about it, it's going to start getting in these kids' head, and you know, before you know it, they're going to be more business savvy and into business than we would have known.
Right. So let's we're gonna switch back, and I know you're down with ball, but we gotta talk a little bit about it. Boogie just went to the Warriors. LeBron just went to LA. KD got a bunch of flack a couple years ago for coming to the Warriors. Like, you know, it seems like players are taking more, you know, power back on what they're getting to do with their careers.
That's what we need. I think it's good. You know what I mean? I think the one thing as a player, and what we didn't like as players was, you know, when teams cut you, trade you, waive you, it's the business. But when a player takes his, you know, his talents and his future in his own hands, he's a traitor, or he's a bad person, or he's a snake, or he's this, or he's that. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? Because like I said, these motherfuckers could drop you at the drop of a dime and not give a fuck about you. And oh man, damn, it's just the business. You know, like how they just let go of Josh Gordon the other day.
Right.
It's the business. You know what I mean? But when people take it in their own hands, when players take it in their own hand, it's frowned upon. But as far as movement, I love it. I think it, you know, now year round, people are watching basketball even in the off season to kind of see where players are going to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And guys want to team up with friends and try new things and go to new cities, which I think is good. Because like I said, the second you can't help a team or something happens, they'll drop your ass. You know what I mean? But if we make a move, it's, you know, so I'm glad that the players have taken control. I love the move that, you know, Boogie going to Golden State. He's like my little brother. I think more than even playing, you know, obviously he's got to get healthy from his injury, but it's going to help him develop as a player mentally, and you know, as becoming a better man, becoming a better teammate, becoming a better person. You know, because that environment is addicting in a positive way. You know what I mean? It's such an amazing, winning, no bullshit, this is how we do things environment, and I don't think he's ever been in a situation like that. So, you know, and I got a chance to know him really well, being a teammate of his, and I think there's definitely a knock on him. And, you know, some of it's deserved because he does have an attitude sometimes, but he's really a good person, and he's just always been a great player on a bad team.
Right.
You know, so for him to go to a championship caliber team, for him able to get healthy, it's going to be a problem. Yeah.
You know, talking specifically about Boogie, and you're from Sacramento, he really took to that community, you know, and it wasn't as publicized. You know, he was hurt when he left Sacramento because he really did a lot of shit in that community.
And because, I mean, they lied to him on the way out, which is unfortunate. You know, I mean, I was there with him, you know, so it was unfortunate for them to tell him pretty much every day, no, we're not trading you, no, we're not doing this, and then trade him during the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. You know, for some of his talent to take to a city and to embrace, you know, it's kind of similar how, you know, how they did Chris Webber back in the day. You know, where he was, you know, a star, and he came into a small town and embraced it and loved the city, and then, you know, kind of just was, like I said, it's the business. Right. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm happy for him that, you know, he was able to land on his feet with Golden State. Obviously, Golden State knows they got to steal. You know what I mean? For him to get him for $5 million, and he's, you know, healthy, the best big in the game. So it's gonna be dope. I love LeBron coming to the Lakers. I think that's gonna, you know, inject new life. The NBA needs the Lakers to be good, to, you know, to kind of help basketball. So everything he brings here on and off the court is gonna be embraced.
I'll be honest, I was surprised. I felt like, first of all, something that's dope about LeBron is I feel like LeBron has become himself more recently than he ever was. I feel like, you know, he used to have this kind of, I don't want to do or say or, you know, the wrong thing. Let me make sure, you know, I always keep the PC. And I feel like, you know, lack of a better term, he over there acting like a grown-ass man now.
Yeah, as he should. You know what I mean? I think you just kind of have to learn, you know, you can't come out and be that kind of player. I think you have to be able to earn, you know, the things you say off the court. Because even as amazing as LeBron could, you know, he got a lot of backlash from that clown-ass lady that told him to shut up and dribble. You know what I mean? So I really think you have to have a foundation before you kind of come out and be as vocal as he's been, but it's been amazing for how vocal he is because he opens up the doors for other people. You know what I mean? Obviously, not everyone's on LeBron's level, but if our best player's doing it, you know, it gives us a voice in the platform and maybe giving some other guys courage to start doing it. So I love what he's done outside of basketball. Obviously, you know, what he's done on the court goes without saying, but I love what he's done. The moves he's making, you know, he's really taken over Hollywood already from a business standpoint in movies and television, and just the positivity he brings, you know what I mean? Like the Lakers are, you know, the Warriors have won 3 out of 4 championships, but the Lakers have the most nationally televised games this year. You know, that's the LeBron effect.
Right.
And how he's also going to help the economy, you know what I mean? So it's just, like I said, he's a moving Brinks truck, you know what I mean? And I think it's great that he decided to, you know, end his run in LA.
Yeah. I think it's dope. I thought that it was going to be a legacy thing for him, you know. And
I think legacy is defined differently these days. You know what I mean? Like there's no let me be a Kobe or a Larry Bird back in the day. You know, let me just play with one team and do all this shit. Like it's just a different game now. You know what I mean? You respect those people that came before you, but at the end of the day, it's a new game, and it's like I said, people want to try new things, and that's not because you only get this shit one time. You only get one career. You know what I mean? So for him to go to Miami, I loved it. You know, fuck it, let me get out of Cleveland of all places and go play on South Beach. And then let me go back to Cleveland and win Cleveland a championship, and let me get the fuck out of there and go to LA. Like, why not? You know what I mean? So I love and I applaud what he's doing, and I commend him for doing it. And you know, KD, I love what he's doing. Like, take your career into your own hands because you only have one career, and you never know how long it's going to last.
So I think some of the backlash though is the super team complex. Everybody's trying to build a super team. You know.
I mean, there's going to be backlash for everything. You know what I mean? But if you know.
Well, this is my question, because I'm an ex-athlete, right? And I was the type of athlete you're gonna be hard pressed to just tell me you better than me, like, and I'm not gonna compete.
Right.
I'm gonna lay down, or you know, I don't care who you assemble together. If I gotta play against you, you're gonna have the hardest day you ever had that day. You know what I mean? That's how I felt, and I feel like, you know, these players coming together, it's fine because you get to choose that. But I feel like for everybody else, you know, at that.
I think everyone else should look at it how you and I looked at it. Like, fuck that super team. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to try to go out there and, you know, Houston was on the brink of beating Golden State last year, but Chris got hurt. Right. You know what I mean? So, to me, it's a fun challenge both ways because the Warriors know now and the Lakers know now every single night it's going to be the other team's biggest game. I mean, so you don't get no nights off in no cities. You can have a back-to-back and then travel one day and play in Milwaukee on national TV, and that's, you motherfucking better be ready. You know what I mean? Like, there's no nights off when you're those kind of teams. You know what I mean? So people can complain about super teams, but I think for more than anything, like, the competitive spirit in NBA players are like, fuck this team. Like, we're going to try to whoop this team's ass. You know what I mean? Because if we do, everyone's going to talk about it. You know, and if we lose, shit, they're the super team. You know, so what do we have to lose? So
that's what's up. I mean, I'm not going to talk your ear off. I appreciate you letting us come in here. But, you know, I want you to leave our viewers with something. You know what I mean? I want you to, what's the one thing Matt Barnes wants the world to know about Matt Barnes?
Man, just should be yourself, man. First and foremost. You know, if my thing is, I think today we look to social media to kind of to justify our well-being or who we are. You know, we base our worth off likes and comments, you know, from complete strangers. You know, I think we're always looking for validation, which I think is ass backwards. You know what I mean? I think every day continue to be the best you could be. And if people don't like you, fuck them. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be plenty of people that do. You know what I mean? So, like, if they don't take the time to get to know you and they just want to dislike you or hate on you, first of all, it means you're doing something right, because they're not just going to be hating on anybody. You know, so, you know, believe in yourself, love yourself, and don't look for validation from others.
Okay. And anything you want everybody to look out for?
Man, look out for all my shit. Who am I talking? What camera am I talking to? I'm talking, man, look out for my pre-rolled 7 leaves out of Sacramento, my pre-roll line coming. Look out for Hue for Every Man in Target. Look out for Active Dreamers coming to a Bed Bath & Beyond near you. Flowers, if you're in LA, Old Vine Flowers, we got you. Man, we just got a lot of fun stuff, man. And I'm gonna start building, you know, my kids' brand, so we're gonna have some kids' stuff on the way, man. So just be on the lookout. We having fun and, you know, living life.
Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate you, man.
Yeah. No doubt, bro.
Definitely family.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, man, it's your boy GL. We had Matt Barnes giving it to you straight. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a friend of the magazine now. So we're going to get up out of here.